'Twas the day before Christmas, when all through the ship all the astronauts were sleeping, tired from their trip. When they heard the loud buzzing, they expected to see flames. But wouldn't you know, it's just Santa Claus playing some games. He came loaded with titles for everybody's taste. Then he bounced out of there because there's no time to waste. He's in a lot of TV commercials, this much is clear. And today we're gonna celebrate the ads with the holiday cheer. There's this one where he Santa napped after filling his cheeks. And another where he lords over the backwards talking guy from Twin Peaks. I love this one where our hero comes in with a task. It's Sagata Sanjuro selling us a Saturn wearing a Santa Claus mask. And here we have E.T. taking over Santa's stash, almost as if the big guy knew that those games would end up in the trash. Then there's this guy from Wiz with a Game Boy in hand. And this crudely drawn animation that's trying to mix Mario with the Pepsi brand. These boys are sick of getting clothes and gifts that are lazy, yet they go on to ask for that South Park game, which seems kind of crazy. Not everybody wants a Nintendo, as these kids will attest. Just give them the Sega Channel and let that poor woman get some rest. These kids at the door want Sonic, Mickey, and the Tasmanian Devil, and it's all because Jimmy got welcomed to the next level. Nintendo used their Game Boy Color to fill the air with glee, while the OG Xbox had these ornaments made just for the tree. And then there's this guy who sells Shaq Fu for a few dollars cheaper, all while this kid is left alone with an 8-foot-tall creeper. There's this tear-jerking advert where Santa nearly gets caught. Don't forget that Blockbuster was a terrible company and deserved every single thing that they got. So avoid the usual argument and bitterness and fights over truth, or else you might be visited by Crash and a murderous clown named Sweet Tooth. So while you're happy and festive and enjoying the Christmas theme, I want you to remember that in space, only Santa can hear you scream. Happy holidays, everybody! Hey, thanks for suffering through what was some pretty painful poetry, I gotta admit. But you still want some more? Well, you know what? You're actually in luck, because we actually have more episodes that are just like this taken from the last few years. So come and join me as I go through some of the past episodes, ensuring that you're gonna have the maximum amount of holiday cheer. Let's go ahead and start with last year's poem. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and all I can see is my large magazine collection staring back at me. There's Game Pro and Super Play and Next Generation, but I want something more festive for my holiday celebration. Like this CVG cover where the Christmas tree fights back, shooting down Santa Claus before he pulls the gifts out of his big old sack. Don't worry, young kids, Santa is usually really sneaky. Still, walking in on a strange man in your house is always a little freaky. Santa can be a woman, or so Insight would have you believe, but Saturn Power did it better, giving us a gift that I would be happy to receive. Hey look, Game Players tossed a cap on Lara Croft, which is not all that crazy, though the fact that they did it again the following year certainly makes them look lazy. Here's Bart dressed up for Christmas, complete with a wreath. And here's another woman pretending to be Santa. Just look at those teeth! This is Kris Kringle deploying games in a war zone. Here he is fighting alongside a chopper, though these days it would probably be a drone. This is a picture of Santa's bud, just in case that's your thing. I have it on good authority that under that suit, he's wearing a G-string. Here he is in green face, which is probably offensive. But look at all the gifts he's bringing, that's gotta be expensive. There's a tiny Santa, it's the most Electron user could afford. And you better not be naughty next year, or he's gonna steal your entire keyboard. Speaking of computers, this one's frozen all the way through. Probably left outside by this guy, along with an add-on or two. Here's a Christmas-themed cover from all the way back in 1976. It's not really video game related, but I figured I'd toss it into the mix. Perhaps that's a sign that I'm running out of good covers. But hey, at least it's not this mag, which was made for Minecraft lovers. Here are a bunch of gaming goodies you might find in your stocking. And this is an adorable family that I have no intention of mocking. I'll end this story without insults or cynical framing, because all I have to say is Merry Christmas to some, and to all, happy gaming. It's the day before Christmas, and here I am working, just thinking about my friends and the jobs they are shirking. But instead of feeling down, depressed, and upset, I pour through old magazines to help cleanse my palate. Here's EGM, here's GamePro, and some Next Generation. I'm just spreading them out all over my workstation. And that's when I noticed all the holiday-themed advertising. Like this Light Boy commercial that demands analyzing. Here we see Santa sucked into a game, and when he forgets to deliver all those presents, we'll know what's to blame. Santa's a bit of a gamer, a fact you can see. He also rocks, eats cookies, and hogs your TV. And then there are those times when he lights his butt on fire. The fact that he survived this long is something I have to admire. He's also a virgin, though I could be misreading. He'll give you free games, but even that is misleading. Hey, don't mess with Santa when he looks like a cat. No, I'm being serious. Just let him keep the hat. These presents from Konami are in desperate need of wrapping. And is it my imagination, or is this Sega ad endorsing kidnapping? And here we see a snowman afraid of that jerk Spyro. His chances of survival are pretty much zero. There's a cat in that snowman, and it's probably cute. Unless it's that cheetah dressed up like Santa from earlier, then you should definitely scoot. I mean, run, flee, get away if you can. Even if that means hanging out with screaming kids or folks and the rest of the clan. I made a list of what I want, but it's all outdated junk. The Grinch made a list too, but clearly he was drunk. Nyko recommends ornaments that'll weigh down your tree, while GameShop gives us Sonic and suggests he can ski. On the topic of skiing, you should check out this lift. Shop early, save money, and be a little thrift. We could probably talk about snowboarding games like Amped and Gex 3, but those have about as much to do with Christmas as a duck named Daffy. And to the people out there who will complain that these ads are shit, I want you to take Midway's advice and go ahead and stuff it. Happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for supporting Defunct Games. 'Twas a few days before Christmas, or so this story goes. We were battling cold weather, working on upcoming shows. But as the wind kicked up and the night turned scary, I pulled out old magazines to make myself feel merry. Electronic Games was my first choice, a mag from the 80s, back when Reagan was president and you were still babies. It has jolly Saint Nick just counting down the hours, and a creepy mini-me Santa straight out of Austin Powers. The choir sang out for the Zap 64 cover, promising free prizes for the hardcore contest lover. Win Gauntlet, win bicycles and a stereo and hi-fi. There's even a ghetto blaster if you wanna be that guy. E.T. shows up on Electronic Fun with computers and games. A classic magazine that should have brainstormed more names. Sitting an inch from the TV, he'll surely go blind, which is still a lot better than this awful design. The year is 1983, and Santa races overhead. He rocks a customized arcade machine bolted to his sled. He doesn't care about safety, he's in such a hurry. But with a game crash incoming, he probably should worry. Hey look, Chester Cheetah is always at the ready. He rides a flying scooter and keeps Santa steady. He's delivering Jimmy's skates, Mary's doll, and Katniss's crossbow, which is pretty much the same thing he does on this cover of GamePro. Next, we saw Santa come in guns a-blazing, coked out of his mind, which was kind of amazing. There's an alien nearby with a bright Rudolph nose, and he'll quickly kill everybody because that's normally how it goes. There's Spider-Man, R2-D2, and a festive Chun-Li. It's the mashup you've dreamed about, all under the tree. The lest you believe, Superplay always comes through. The rest of their holiday covers pretty much blue. We celebrate Christmas as the day Jesus was born, but this SNES Force cover looks more like gay porn. He's bloodied and bruised from the fighting game season, clutching the mistletoe for one lascivious reason. With no presents to give and a Christmas in flames, it's off to the mall with electronic games. Here you'll find pugilists, thieves, and even a punk. You should have shopped at Amazon at home when you were drunk. Here's a toast to the new year and all its surprises, which will mostly be sequels, reboots, and old franchises. So remember to reach out to the people you most cherish, because Coleco's atom bomb is coming, and thousands will perish. Happy holidays, everybody, and thank you for watching and supporting Defunct Games.